I'm David from Levika Photography, and today we are testing out light modifiers for the Wistro AD200 or FLashpoint, whatever the hell it's called, Evolv 200, something like that. Anyway, we've got a couple of different options. First off is the 5-inch parabolic dish, and this is the light modifier that comes with the light if you choose to buy that kit. You can actually buy the light without a modifier, but if it comes with one, it's going to come with this. And this has a diffuser and kind of a Tupperware style lid that goes on it. And this actually works pretty well for a default light. Very general purpose. Just throws out a lot of bright light, which is good. Next up, we've got this acrylic ball that I picked up. And very inexpensive, and you can see it's just a frosted, translucent, kind of white acrylic ball. Very good for creating a lot of ambient light. And I actually bought this to do interior shots, but today we'll see what it looks like on a person. Now the other thing were these two lights, or sorry, these two Snoots. And these come in a kit, and I bought these off of Amazon, and as you can see they have grids in them. And don't let the looks deceive you. If you don't want to use the grids, you can simply pull that off. So that's kind of a nice feature, and that happens on both of them. So anyway, these are a little bit different. The silver is going to put out a little bit more light than the black, but the black will put out more of a tighter beam than the silver, if that makes any sense, simply because of its shape. And then we've got the beauty dish. And the beauty dish, the way this works, and I have this set up on the light right now so you can actually see it, is when the light goes off inside here, it shoots into the bottom side of this, and then it floods and comes forward. This is probably my most favorite light modifier, and I carry this with me pretty much everywhere, just because I can make it work like a softbox, or if I use a grid, I can make it work more like a standard light. Or it's just a great fill light if you don't use a diffuser. So anyway, let's go into the grid part of it. Now the grid itself, this is what grids look like in general. And this is a, I believe this is a, what is this? It doesn't say. It's probably a 30-degree grid. The tighter the grid, the more forward light you have, creating more of a focused beam of light. And here's a really tight grid. This one's kind of old, so it's a little scratched up, but you can see how much smaller those are compared to that. And this is a very tight, like 20-degree grid, and this fits in the 7-inch modifier on the AD600. So anyway, mine's old and beat up. It's been around for a long time, but still works. The only problem with grids that I got to talk about really quick is if you decide to use lights like this for macro photography or anything closer than like 3 or 4 feet, the shadow of the grid will actually show up on what you're shooting, so be very careful with that. Anyway, let's move on. So the next thing is actually the umbrella, and I'm using that right now. This is what I use in the studio to actually light my stuff. Oh look, 2 of my biggest fans. Anyway, yeah, the basic umbrella is a fantastic diffuser, and you know, they're just shoot through. So if I come over here, you'll see that I'm just shooting my light through there to kind of fill. But we're going to do the same exact thing on the AD200. So over here is the gigantic softbox, and this is a Promaster Softbox, and this is a 36 by 48 umbrella softbox, and I already reviewed this like a year ago. But since then, I've made a few modifications to it, and the reason why I'm showing you this versus like the Godox umbrella, which is over here, I actually have one of these here. The reason why I'm showing you this one over that is because this diffuses the light a lot more, and I really want you to be able to see the difference. And you know, this thing is gigantic, 36 by 48, but it's very easy to set up, and let me just show you why. So if I show you the inside of this, you'll see that it's kind of an umbrella style format, and you literally pop it open and then put the enclosure on it. Now, one modification I did, you can see down here, here's the zipper hole where you actually put your light through. I sewed this flap over so it wouldn't Velcro on the bottom. That way I could run a light stand through here in case I needed to angle this down, because you don't really have that option when you're stuffing the light through that hole. It kind of stops the angle. But anyway, it's a very good softbox. It's just hard to use out in the field, but it's fantastic in the studio. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot all these against my muslin cloth just to show you what the light spread looks like, and then we'll shoot a model as soon as she gets here. Since we're shooting these on the AD200, we're going to shoot these at quarter power just to see how that looks, and I think we'll shoot at 1,000th of a second at f4, ISO 400. We're using a 28mm f2 lens so you can see the width, and we're shooting on the A7R full frame. So let's see how this looks before we take it outside. Alright, so this is the Ambient Sphere, and this thing I would actually use in a situation where it'd be like an architectural shoot, bouncing off walls forward or something like that. Because this is just a sphere, it's like perfect ambient light. But we'll see what it looks like for headshots. So let's see what we got here. And this is the SOny 85mm f1.8. So go ahead and turn just a little bit more. Look that way. Yeah, just a little bit. So this one's the default light modifier, just the one that you can get with this thing. Right now we've got the two plastic diffusers on it. We're going to use this at the same power, kind of the same distance away. Let's see what we got here. Default light modifier comes with our thing, no diffuser. Alright, so let's see what we got here. Now we'll slap on our Tupperware light modifier. This has 2 discs in it. So this will definitely calm it down. We were at 0.008 of a second, now we're probably going to drop down to 4. And we're still shooting wide open with the 85mm f1.8. Now we're going to do the beauty dish, and this one has a grid on it. So the grid just keeps the light focused more forward. Keeps it from spreading. We'll just leave that on for now. And this one, I don't believe came with a diffuser. So let's try this here. Now the beauty dish has always been my kind of long-time favorite, and I gotta aim this up a little bit more. Need Bowen's brackets. Finicky. Finicky. Now, shooting without the diffuser, and go up to 4,000th of a second. Alright, so the same shot now diffused. And I love the Snoot for doing kind of a film noir look, which has always been my thing. I want to say I paid like 11 bucks for these things, so really one of the most inexpensive things you can stick on here. And I like this silver one because it's also a good bulb protector. Oh, this is even better. I prefer this one. So for this shot, we're going to shoot pretty much right underneath the light. Now, the thing with a Snoot is you've got a very focused beam of light, very tight. Alright, this is my least favorite light modifier to use outside because it's like setting up a gigantic kite. Now you pretty much need to go full power with the softbox, but softboxes give just the best light. We're running this at 1/8 of the power. You can see I've got it fairly close to her, but that's because we want as much diffusion as possible. So the last one is the cheap ass umbrella, and this should have pretty much the same effect as a softbox. It's just, again, these have the same issue. Using these outside, they want to like fly with the wind. So the nice thing about umbrellas is there's really two ways you can use them. So we can go that way, or we can go this way. I should really weigh it down, but to be honest with you, right now I'm feeling kind of lazy. So this is with it reversed. A lot of this stuff really isn't meant to shoot just models. A lot of it's very universal. The factory dish that comes with this thing, this works pretty good in just about every general purpose, but it does put out kind of a harsh light, not really very smooth, so You know, when it's on here, it just kind of has this penetrating kind of almost a harsh light to it, but it's not so bad. It works fine. Out in full daylight, it works pretty well. It just depends on how much you want to diffuse shadows. It doesn't really do a very good job of that. This is surprising. So, you know, if you live in an area where it's really, really windy and you want to do some diffused shots that almost look like a softbox but not quite, the shadows I wasn't able to get them as soft as I wanted to. But it's very different. That's all I can say. Really, it's good for ambient light, lighting up an area, just a general area, because the light spread is so big. The beauty dish. This is the one piece of equipment that I think is essential for this light. If you don't want to carry a softbox, or if you do weddings and you're outside all the time and you don't want to have to worry about weighting down the stand or anything like that, these are very wind resistant, and because of their shallow depth and the way the light shoots into the dish, then back in and then spreads, they've got a very wide beam, especially without the grid. So these make an excellent choice if you don't want to deal with a softbox. I could pretty much just use this modifier alone for everything if I was shooting people, because it just works so well. It's so simple to use. And our snoots, you know, this one kind of struggled a little bit because it took more light to put out. But this one overall gave me the kind of spotlight look that I was looking for. I mean, they're so close to each other, it's almost hard to tell. But this one makes a great bulb protector, so you can pretty much almost always have that with you, and if you need that really narrow beam of light, it's there. So I recommend getting these just because, you know, you never know when you're going to use it. Okay, last but not least is our gigantic softbox. This thing is great, and it's the world's biggest pain in the ass at the same time because it's huge, it's bulky, and it gets in the way of everything. But if you want the softest light possible, using a softbox is the best way to go. I leave one of these in my car. I must have maybe 5 or 6 of these lying around, 2 in each studio and 1 in each car, so yeah, 6. So they're just too handy to have. So anyway, I hope you guys like this video. I hope you found it informative. Leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel for more information like this, and follow me on Instagram if you can, and I might follow you back. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good day. We'll see you later. Bye.